We're about to take a look at 9 new tools from Klein, you guys. Some of these are going to replace existing tools that I have. They're the new updated versions, so I'm actually super excited to get into that. Some of them are their new bits, their new multi-driver stuff, their nut drivers. And at the end, you guys, we have some pliers, and there's one set of pliers that I cannot understand why people aren't talking about them. They are my favorite style of plier. It blows my mind. I can't wait to show you guys at the end because it doesn't make sense why I haven't seen it more, why it's not more popular. But let's go ahead and hop into these fantastic new tools from Klein. Number 1, we still got this one in the packaging, you guys. I'm excited. It's the new 9-in-1 hollow shafted magnetic pass-through nut driver, okay? This is cool. I have the 7-in-1. I've had the 7-in-1 for a while. The only issues I have with the 7-in-1 are that not all of them are hollow shafted, and it's super big and heavy. So we're gonna go ahead and open this boy up. It says it's supposed to be 25% lighter. Also, all of these have pass-throughs, and as you can see, the threads on the actual thing here, it goes all the way through the handle. So with this new handle, you do get 2 other sizes that you don't get with the original. Also, it is so much lighter. It's actually insanity, especially in the handle region. The reason for that is because of the hollow shaft here. You guys can see it does pass all the way through. I like that. It does feel a little bit heavy on the top, but this one's just so big. I'm excited for the new one. It does 3/16, quarter inch, 5/16, 11/32, 3/8, 7/16, half inch, 9/16, and 3/4. The 2 sizes that you get are the 3/16 and the 3/4, which are obviously on the higher end, and the lower end, it just adds 1 to both, but it gives you the full pass through all the way through the handle. I love that. I like that Klein's doing new stuff, even with their older tools. I prefer to keep something like this because of the hollow shafts. All right, the next 2 on our list are both gonna be multi-drivers. Klein has been absolutely killing it here recently with their multi-driver options, things that people have never even thought about before. This one here is the 13-in-1 impact rated driver. Now, these bits are reversible. It's ratcheting, but they're reversible. So all of them have dual-sided heads. On this bit, it's got a number 1 Phillips and a number 2 Phillips. The ratcheting feels nice. There is also a hold function. That's one thing that you want to look for on these ratcheting bits, is that it has a normal function, so you can tighten it like a normal screwdriver, especially when you're starting off with the screws. I really do wish that they didn't have that they had a number 2 Phillips and a flathead on this side. I think that would make it more user friendly. But let's go ahead and open this up and see what other bits we have. And all of these are double-sided, so I'm going to assume that the 13th thing, obviously if there's 6 different bits, then that leads to 12. The last one's probably going to be the quarter-inch driver on the end here, but it is ratcheting. The ratchet feels great so far. It looks like we got one with a number 1 and a number 2 square, one with 2 different sizes of flatheads, one with a T25 and a T20. Then there is a bit with a number 0 and a number 3 Phillips, T10 and a T15 Torx, and then yep, the 13th one is that quarter-inch driver. I like that it just takes a quarter-inch bit. I like that it has all of these bits stored back here and that they can all go into your impact. That's a big deal, especially for me. I always keep an M12 impact with me. And I like that the bits store in here. It feels nice and light. It feels pretty ergonomic too. I like this better than I like a lot of the Klein drivers. It feels nice, and it has a hold function, which is super important. You don't realize how annoying it is to not have the hold function until you have something that ratchets that doesn't have the hold function in a screwdriver form. Then you're like, why? Next up here, this one is special. This one is one of my favorites. It's the new 11-in-1 impact rated screwdriver / nut driver kit. Now, it comes with a bunch of different options, obviously 11. The thing that I really like about this is that when you pull this out, both of the quarter-inch drives go into the back side of what holds it into the screwdriver. So that means that you can take this portion out of the back side, leave the bit in there, and then you can have this in your impact. So you have your 5/16 bit in there, your driver for Tapcons or whatever, and you have a number 2 Phillips on the front. That's hard to beat. I like that. I don't typically love proprietary systems, which is what this is. It's a very a special size of whatever to fit into this handle. However, with the quarter-inch impact on that side of it, so it actually goes into your impact, which is the only thing that I really care about, it makes it ideal. Also, as far as the actual bits that are included in this, we got a number 1, number 2 Phillips, 3/16 and quarter-inch flathead, number 1, number 2 square, T25 1/4" driver, 5/16 driver, 3/8 and 1/2" driver. It covers a ton, and these bits are fitting fantastically in here. They feel extremely strong, very sturdy. I like this a lot more than I like a normal multi-driver as well. I'll say that. These bits feel good. Of course, it's the traditional Klein handle. Nothing different about that at all, except for the shank that this takes, which you guys, I'm a fan. I'm going to have to run this and see just how it goes, but gives you pretty much every bit you could need on an impact, as well as still being able to use this driver if it's on the other side of what you need. If you want to use, let's say you want to use the 3/8 in your impact. So if we pull it out there, we can take these bits. I'm throwing stuff. I'm trying to hold still for the camera. So if we take the bits out of there, we can actually slide them into our handle, and then on top of it, this will fit. And now our bits aren't just loose laying around in our pocket. We're not going to lose them because they're actually still in here because there's enough room, because obviously it fits in there with this. So now we can have our 3/8 driver in our impact, which is right here. And we can still have our T25, which is what's on the top here, or any of our other bits in these. This is one of my favorites from Klein, you guys. This is ingenuity. Like, this is a big deal. And these do fit very, very securely into this 1/4" bit holder here. It doesn't just go in there. There's an actual snap to it. Next up from Klein, we have their 8-in-1 insulated electronic driver. I just did a multi-driver video. I'll tag it at the end. But I was inspired after I saw this. I went through and I was like, man, I can't believe this one didn't make the list. It's pretty impressive. As you guys can see, there's the 3 blades. I just put the 4th one in here. So these are double-sided blades. We'll cover the different sizes here in just a second. But all of them just connect right in on top of that, and they make it incredibly easy to have all of these different blades. Now, I don't typically keep mine in the storage case. It'll actually go in the bag in a pocket. So it'll take up one pocket and have 8 different electronic screwdriver sizes. This makes it super easy. They're insulated. They're not slimline, so that's one negative. But I'll say this, it's thinner than all of my other multi-drivers that I have as electronic drivers. Now, to release it, you just pop this black part forward and it releases it. Now, it does have a nice secure, it snaps in like it's in there, okay? And then when you pull this forward, it lets it go. I love this driver. I have the large size of this for the normal drivers, and it's been great so far. I don't expect a whole lot different from this one. I like this one a lot. The cap spins so you can put your hand against it and push on smaller screws and stuff like that. Next up are these nut drivers here, or nut setters. I ordered these on accident. I tried to get the hollow shafted nut drivers, and I accidentally ordered the ones with the normal shaft. So I actually didn't know hollow shafted nut drivers existed until somebody commented on the last video, told me to check them out. So proof that you guys should check them out, because hopefully I'll order the right tool for you. But if you guys do comment about tools, I try to get them, test them out, and that way everybody can have access to the most fantastic tools and actually enjoy their workday. A couple of things that I like the look of them a lot. I like the color being just a stripe. They feel a lot bigger than the solo nut setters from other companies. They feel a little bit heavier. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I'm going to have to test them out more. I'm going to be honest. I'm just disappointed it's not the hollow shafted nut setters, because that's really what I was looking for, which is so sad. So subscribe, because those are coming. Those are on the way as we speak. They're just not here today. Another fun one here. This is the 6-in-1 metric nut driver set from Klein. This is super cool. I've had the SAE version of this for a while. It's been living on my impact. It's amazing. It's super, super useful. Now, how this works is there's one bit up front that has a stop, so the rest of these bits have to pop off the back. But in order to do that, you can also just turn it around and pop it on to use both sizes. It's got a 7 and an 8 in the front here, and then it also has 10, 12, 13, and 14. I'm sure they have other sizes as well. I just got the 6-in-1 instead because I don't use metric super often. Now, the rest of these bits just come off the back, which it's going to be difficult to do on camera with it focusing. Apologize. But they all come off, and they just leave you with this empty bit here. Now, you can rearrange it however, whatever direction you want to. There's a stop on the front. You just can't push them through the front. That's pretty much it. Super useful to be able to carry all of those sizes in one small bit. Obviously, you don't have hollow shafts, which isn't necessary all the time, but when it's necessary, it's necessary. And they do now make a metric version of this 6-in-1 impact bit. So check it out if you guys get into some metric tomfoolery sometimes. Now, one last quick one before we get into the 2 sets of pliers that are new. These are the lock nut wrenches. I like this set because of how offset they are. That's something that I prefer. It comes with 3 different sizes, and as you guys can tell, they are magnets on these, so they all stick together. I love that. It makes storage easy. We have 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch here, that size of lock ring. And now, this is nothing new. This is actually one of the oldest tools on this list for sure. It's the Klein heavy duty wire stripper. I got these because I don't have a set of heavy duty wire strippers from Klein. I like the shears on them. I like the fatter nose for this style. I want to try it out. And I like that it goes down to 8 solid, so it does 10 stranded. That's important. If it doesn't do 10 stranded for me, that's kind of a bummer because in commercial facilities, a lot of times lighting circuits are 10 gauge stranded because of voltage drop. They also don't have a lock on them, but they do have a spring, which is actually something that I like. They feel really good in my hand right now. I like the curve. The texture of this blue feels fantastic. It's one of my favorite handles from Klein. Probably my favorite handle that I've ever felt from Klein. So definitely big ups to this so far. Ergonomics, if you guys know me, is a big deal. I like things to fit well in my hand since that's where it goes. And last, but definitely not least, the thing that I am the most excited for. These are their Claw quick adjust pump pliers. Basically, they're channel locks on steroids. This is the thing that I love the most. I use this style of plier every single day and have for years. I've been waiting for somebody from America to start making one. And I know Klein has been actually making this for a while. They have a dipped yellow handle. They are a lot thinner. They're probably about half of the size of what you're used to on a channel lock. This is amazing because it'll allow you to get into smaller places. It's a lot lighter, so you don't have to have a heavy tool. And the handles are a lot smaller, which lead to a lot better maneuverability. Now, a couple other things that make this style of plier so amazing. The push button is fantastic. Basically, you press it in, you set it to whatever you want it to be at, and it stays there. There's no more fumbling around. It's super easy. You just put it in, it locks in. It's also really easy for one-handed stuff. It's so much more precise. You can see all of the different settings in here. All of those teeth are different settings that the button can hit. There's plenty of them. So you can have the exact size that you need for whatever you're doing. The other thing about this is the head, the teeth are directional. So it doesn't go backwards well, but it goes forwards extremely well. It gets a much better bite. You will mar the pipe before you lose grip. It's just not possible. They grip way better, way better than normal pliers. It's insane. And I typically actually ream my conduit with this as well. You can use the outside of it to deburr the inside of that conduit. And then the outside, if you put it on the edge of it and you go backwards, it actually takes off all of your nicks, all of your stuff. These are great for that. Once I got used to the push button style of adjustable pliers, I haven't even looked back. Okay, this is one of my favorite sets of pliers, especially that differs from what we traditionally use here in America. You guys, if you haven't tried something like this, I suggest you try them. I like the Kleins. And if you do love Klein, you guys, and you want to check out our setup right now, you guys head up to this video. Remember, it's all for his glory, and I'll see you guys on the next one.